Hello, my name is Rich Howard, owner of Architectural Builders Supply, and this video is to bring you a closer look at the Pemko number 193B. This is a large and heavy piece of what we would call architectural bronze. It's also called brass, and brass is certainly a very acceptable term for this. That's what people know it as. It's an amalgamation of four primary base materials. I believe the industry calls it architectural bronze, but we're going to call it brass. And this is nothing other than a 6-inch sample piece of the 193B, and that means that it is in a mill finish. And you can see that it's in a mill finish in the sense that no treatment at all has been done to the surface. It will come to you streaky like this. These marks will be on there. Not that they're not marks, they're not damage, they're not dents or scratches. They're just a byproduct of the extruding process of when this is manufactured. People will order the mill finish specifically. Well, the definition of mill finish needs to be explained. Some people have ordered this and have said, what you sent me is defective. No, what we sent you is what you ordered. It's a mill finish. Oh, well, I expected it to be shiny. Oh, okay, that's polished. We have to redo that. So there's lots of different ways to treat the finish. Some people will expect it to be a certain finish. Some people specifically will go out of their way to say, I want mill finish. I don't want any brushing, no polishing, no oil rubbing, nothing done to it. And we understand what that terminology means, so the client's reassured that what they're getting is exactly a raw brass. What it looks like when it comes extruded from the mill is what it is. And why people would want that is because they want it to patina and age with exposure to the environment it's installed in. They want it to oxidize, for what lack of the proper term on brass. They want it to turn. They want it to age. They want it to look as if it's 100 years old. And given just a relatively short amount of time, it will certainly end up looking that way. This is extremely heavy. Believe it or not, it weighs about 0.28 pound per inch of this length. So this item here weighs about 1.8 pounds or so. The overall width of this is about 6 1/4. This thickness of this material is 1/2 inch. I'm going to give you an idea of what, I can give you an idea of what the wall thickness is. And that's really obviously where the weight's going to come from. This material thickness, I would say, would be right at about 0.14 inch. 0.14 inch from the top here to the underside of the valley underneath it. 0.14 inch. Okay, this is just a tread plate, is really what it is. This is going to be very typically used. Yeah, I had said 1/2 inch earlier. It didn't sound wrong until I thought about it. It's a 1/4 inch. Forgive me. This is definitely 1/4 inch. Okay. And a plate like this can be used just as it is right here and now. It can be attached down to the surface of what you're installing it down to. It's just a 1/4 inch, so it would be very appropriate for lots of applications. This is also used as a component in other assemblies where you are trying to build a custom sort of threshold, and we can dip our toe into what that means. But there are other pieces that this can be used alongside that. This can obviously be ripped on a table saw should you need to be able to create a custom size. This can be shipped without any holes for screws, and screws, by the way, are here. Again, this is just a 6-inch sample piece. These are brass screws. We need to discuss how you want it drilled, if at all. I have a lot of customers that will order. I have a customer in Canada a couple of years ago, and it's just memorable because it's unusual to sell 50 lineal feet of such a product, but that was the scope of that order. Different lengths, different widths. And everything, and the client was very clear to specify he wanted no holes at all because they needed to locate the holes where the flooring condition would permit fasteners. Although we, of course, supplied, because it was specified, standard fasteners. We would say supply undrilled, provide, ship undrilled but provide standard fasteners. Okay. Most important really to know that it's solid bronze, but it's, or brass, but it's in a mill finish. So onto this, they can do different finishes, and they can do a satin finish. Mill first, mill, just raw. They can do satin. They can do polished. They can do antique brass. They can do satin bronze. They can do oil rubbed bronze. Okay. They can do a Pemcoat covering over this, which is an anti-slip sort of feature that they can put over this. Now, why would you want to order this in any way, shape, or form? Because the cost per foot is exceptional. It's, a 6-foot threshold of this magnitude would be hundreds and hundreds of dollars. Well, the reason you would is a couple of reasons. If you are building a, $500 million hotel that is 5-star, you're probably going to use bronze or brass thresholds at your primary, points of ingress. If you're building a $3 million home, or who knows, how home you're building, you may not use aluminum. You might use solid brass. If you are the front door of City Hall in a major metropolitan area where there's tons of foot traffic, not tons, it's thousands of cycles a day, architectural bronze or brass will be far more durable as a base material. So you'll use it because of just, it is what it is. You can't use a cheaper alternative, or you'll use it for the inherent properties of its durability. This will last a century longer. This will last a millennia. Or you'll use it because of the finish. So you'll use it when you ought not use anything else. You'll use it because of its durability. You'll use it because of what the base material can provide you in terms of finish options. There is nothing like a polished brass finish over solid brass. You can have steel, and you can do a polished brass plating over steel, but there's just no comparison. There's no warmth in the finish. Why would you do that on a threshold that you're going to walk over? There's a hotel in town that has solid brass thresholds on all their exterior doors. There must be dozens of them, and they are routinely polished, and they look magnificent every time that I walk through them. Lots of reasons why you wouldn't. Probably because of the cost, I would think. You can get this in an aluminum type of product as well. It's orders of magnitude less expensive. Let's switch to the screen view now, and let's take a closer look at some supporting information. Okay, so we have this item here that we're looking at. Not much to see here. It's the 193B, which means it's mill. Let's look at some photographs that I've supplied. Sometimes the camera can give us a little closer view than we can see otherwise. You can see evidence of how it's cut on their... I would think they would cut this on a bandsaw, but I'm admittedly not exactly sure what they use. That is a great illustration of what mill looks like. It's going to be unfinished. That outside edge. The screws that would be included with it. Now, this is listed in the site in lots of different lengths. They indicate that the width here, that appears to be 6 1/8. Put my tape measure on it again just to know exactly. Yeah, it's about 6 3/16, I was going to say. I can put the caliper on it, but I don't think that's necessary. 6 3/16. Mill finish can be combined with each other and with supports and accessories to solve almost any floor condition. We talked about that. Provided undrilled is standard. Provided unwelded. So let's back up. There will be no holes on this unless we talk about holes. Holes are likely going to be no additional charge, or they're likely going to be an additional charge. What that means is no additional charge is asking the factory to send them drilled. And they'll do that, whatever their standard is. Or custom, which means we would have to submit a sketch. There would be an upcharge, but they can do it. You may not want to get this material and have to worry about drilling it. They provided unwelded, which means it's a single piece, but it's not put together with other pieces that would then be welded. It is barrier-free because it doesn't exceed the 1/2 inch overall height and does not exceed a 1/4 inch, or then the rise over run formula has to come into play. And let's take a look here at the link below this video to the manufacturer's page. When you click on that, that page will come up. And we're going to open up the product catalog. We'll do a find function on our keyboard for 193. There's a lot of 193s. It apparently is an ANSI number, so we'll get to it. There we go, 193. So this got us in the 2019 catalog to page 134, and you're going to see floor plates and safety treads. So the 193, that can be done in aluminum-based material, which you can do in a powder-coated dark bronze, and a mill finish, a black suede powder coat, a dark bronze anodized, a gold anodized, and a white suede powder coat over aluminum. But that B tells us it can be done in a bronze-based material, and then onto a bronze-based material, you can do those previously mentioned finishes, which were antique brass, oil-rubbed bronze, they would do an anti-slip coating over it. That's 3. 4 is mill finish. Satin brass finish is 5. Satin bronze finish is 6. Polished brass finish is 7. They can do all of that. It'd be nice if they had available finishes, available base materials / finishes, aluminum, and then list them, brass, and then list them. That would be really nice if they did that. Great little improvement. So they have these piece parts and components that are here as well. Okay, an expansion joint version. If you're wanting to stay in the world of brass, be sure to stick with the B. That expansion joint is a synthetic rubber. Different sizes. They can put a heavy bevel on one side as well. Additional floor plates as we continue to move through. So provided unwelded, you know, I do think that they're basically saying this is a single piece. Now they can, and I have had done in the past, applications where we've needed something special, and we have had this material welded together. Okay, custom fabrication is going to be not unusual, especially when you're creating thresholds for use around floor closers as well. You'll see that. To further that point, orders with X in the part number indicate welding. So if you were ordering a 195 by 193 by 195, that's going to mean, I don't see my 195 here. Okay, so that 195 is just a couple of pages further down, and this is where we get into talking about customization. So if you want a 195, and then in there is going to be your 193B, and then another 195, it's going to end up looking like you have two pieces like that. Forgive the awful drawing, and then your 193 is going to fit in there. They're going to weld it. They're going to weld it. You'll probably want a brace, you know, down below, which could be the 196. You would certainly want something like that. And as long as you have a B in the part number, you've got a compatible base material. You've got the same base material. So these floor plates and accessories on page 137, along with these elevators as well, they should be pointed out, can also be put together as a custom. So the reason I go on and on about talking about this plate and it being beyond just a 193, it's because these are pieces. It's a single threshold, but it's likely more commonly used in an assembly of other items, either shipped loose or less commonly shipped welded together. Okay, so that can be done. You can. I have made 18-inch wide assemblies, like they are calling out here. Okay. Elevated floor plates require support every 4-inch on center at welded seams. Obviously, they're saying that, you know, if you don't have a support in here and you step on that, you're going to deflect that. You're going to bend that. Ordering fasteners does not constitute drilling instructions. Nope, you have to specify both lines separately. Just be sure to do so. Furnished undrilled unless instructions are specified. Pemko can fabricate almost any floor plate threshold you might require. Absolutely they can. You know, this is, you know, with a saw and with a welder, you can make any of this material work, regardless of the base material. Okay. Now, the link to the manufacturer's page here will allow you to see not only all of the Pemko products that we sell by means of this horizontal navigation, but also a link to the manufacturer's website, and then again that product catalog. Older versions of the product catalog are here as well. There's also a document called A117.1 that is the ADA design guide basically for usable and accessible buildings. And why would that be on the Pemko page? Well, because thresholds are very much governed by the requirements for the ability of the handicapped to gain access. And if you're, you know, sticking to just a 1/4-inch threshold, you're not going to be in violation of anything in this document. However, it's very handy to have access to this document, because just a Control F or a find function on your keyboard for the word threshold is going to show you lots of sections that apply to the inclusion of thresholds. So be mindful that you'll be spending time valuably by using this document. Of course, other things are in there as well. If you're in construction, everything governing hardware in a commercial restroom, grab bars, soap dispensers, mirrors, the height of all that material is in this document as well. Let's wrap up this video on camera. Okay, so this video was to serve as visual evidence of the item, talk about where you'll use it, what it is, why you would want it, or maybe why you don't want it at all. Pemko 193B, a very comprehensive offering of material that they have in their catalog. If you deal with weather stripping, at least perhaps only on an occasional basis, it would still be worthwhile to at least know where to gain access to that document again, because just of how comprehensive of a product catalog it is. It's a couple of 100+ pages of just weather stripping options. No other manufacturer has such a comprehensive offering. Any questions on the 193B in a mill finish or any other Pemko product, please feel free to reach out to us. And thank you. Again, thank you for watching, and if you've enjoyed this video, please click thumbs up, please subscribe, and maybe even send the video to someone that you know. Thank you.